Hey guys, welcome back to theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Thanks again for checking it out, for subscribing, all that stuff. Thank you, I appreciate it. Keep your questions coming. To keep in the spirit of the holiday season, I've been getting a lot of questions from people asking, what do you do with your holiday schedule at your research clinic? So let me answer that because it's actually a good question, okay? During the holidays, and my clinics are usually small to mid-sized clinics. So we're talking about maybe 10 studies going on at any given time, maybe 3 or 4 coordinators, or 5. I've had up to 8 coordinators at one site at a time. So small to mid-sized clinics. And what I like to do is I like to give most people the week of Christmas and New Year off. Now, what that means is you don't get every day off, but we have like a skeleton schedule where somebody, and this is why it's important to have all your coordinators cross-trained on all the studies you have, okay? Especially if you only have 10 studies or less, you can have numerous coordinators being cross-trained so that they can be the backup for when someone's not in the office. So what I do for the holiday schedule is everybody picks one day to be there at the office, with the exception of Christmas Day and New Year's Day. And you can also make the argument for Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, although at times, depending on what day of the week these holidays fall on, it's unavoidable to not have someone come in because, as you know from these protocols, some of the visit windows are actually really small. They don't give you much room for extra days. So we're talking about visit windows that are plus or minus 1 day, plus or minus 2 days. I just had a study like that wrap up recently where I was the coordinator. So what I do is I'll have one coordinator come in every day on those days for those weeks. Okay, and so let's say Monday will be coordinator A coming in, Tuesday will be coordinator B, Wednesday coordinator C, Thursday coordinator D, Friday coordinator E. That's if you have 5 coordinators. If you only have 2 or 3, you can implement something similar to this, as long as they're all cross-trained on each other's studies, where one person will come in one day, then they'll have the day off, then another one will come in one day, then they'll have another day off. I know a lot of coordinators, some of them want to travel during the holiday seasons, and that's really not possible unless you have a lot of study coordinators and they're willing to back each other up. They can say, all right, you can take this week off and you could back me up on my days if I can take next week off, and I'll back you up on those days. Or vice versa. I think I said it backwards. So it's all about empowering your staff members to make the right decisions. It's all about empowering your staff members to be familiar with all the protocols and to be trained on all the protocols and to be on all the delegation of duties logs, and then let them work it out amongst themselves. Of course, the PI should be involved too, but if you're the manager, the last thing you want to be doing is dictating who's going to be coming in, and you have to be there because people can take these days off. They can take vacation days. They don't have to listen to what you're saying, okay? So you want them to be cooperative with you rather than working against you. So that's the idea behind my skeleton schedule. And I noticed that when I give coordinators the opportunity to solve these scheduling conflicts on their own, they actually do it without my involvement. It's not always perfect. Mistakes do get made, but at the end of the day, everyone is still happy and everyone stays with you in the company for another year, rather than getting pissed off because they're working hard all year and then they don't even get the holidays off. So that's one way I go about doing it, is having the skeleton schedule. And obviously the more coordinators you have, or the more staff members you have cross-trained on each other's studies, the more flexibility you can have. I had 1 year where this was when I had 8 employees, and they were all cross-trained on all the protocols. So each person only had to come in 1 day or 1.5 days for those 2 weeks of the holiday break. Okay, so they got all those other days off. and that's the way I do it. And that doesn't mean my solution's the right solution. It may not be appropriate for your site. You may only have one coordinator, and then guess what? You can give him or her Christmas and New Year's off, but they got to understand that you guys are a small site, and it's really up to them. Now, if you are a small site, you may not have that many study participants actually coming in on a regular basis, so you might get away with giving them more days off too. But for the sites that are a little busier, this is one way I go about doing it. Hopefully this helps. Let me know your thoughts on this, and happy holidays to all of you. This is Dan from theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Take care.